So this is a brand new channel. It's going to be littered with errors, but I think that there's an area of the market that as an ex-semi-pro and still, I would say, competent jam night musician, the normal sort of like podcasts that I watch don't cater for. There's lots of things up there about gear reviews, and I'm sure we'll do some of those. I love gear. I'm a big gear head. The guy that's sat opposite me, probably about 2,500 miles away. Whereabouts are you from, Shane?
I'm in Memphis, Tennessee.
Oh, so that explains the Elvis thing on your email, right?
Yeah.
So Shane's from Memphis,
and that was
Tennessee.
the first concert I ever went to. I saw his last concert in Memphis in 1976.
No way.
Yes.
Yeah, I think the claim to fame was that he came to England for about 20 minutes but never left the airfield.
Oh, really?
Yeah. In all his career, but he was equally as famous and latterly infamous over here. He's still the king.
Oh, yeah.
Michael Jackson's still the prince, in my view.
Yeah. Yep.
So, I'm Mark. I've just started this website. There will be some errors. We'll ignore them. I'm not going to edit them out too much unless they're absolutely catastrophic, because I think that's the way we want to see it, warts and all. So Shane has actually kindly volunteered to be the first person that we do an interview for. On Sunday, I've got a good friend of mine called Caesar, who's a Filipino guy who lives the royal lifestyle. He's currently in the Seychelles. He was somewhere even more exotic before that. But Shane, I met through the Shiji guitar group, of which we're both members. And I'll just get the quick plug in now. As of today, I am officially the Shiji UK distribution agent.
That's great. Congratulations.
Yeah. It was announced this morning in an inglorious fashion. It was like, can I do it or what? It was one of those things. So, Shane, just tell us a little bit about yourself, please.
I started guitar at 4 years old. My father played guitar, and he worked on the railroad. He was gone a week and home a week. And when he was gone, I would get his guitar out, and because I'd see him do it, and I would get it out of tune essentially. And when he would come back and pick it up, he knew exactly what happened and who did it, But
you an only child then, Shane?
No, I have an older brother and a younger brother and a younger sister.
Right.
4 years.
It was always you that was messing with the guitar.
Yeah, always. Oh, I just never left my hand. It kept me out of trouble too, So, many hours woodshedding, and I taught guitar for 30 years.
Right.
And I had my
own... We'll get into that later, but you've got an incredible technique. So none of this surprises me.
I appreciate it. I try. I don't think I'm any good, but I just try to get better and better, So, and I'm new to the world of recording, and so that's why it's kind of antiquated looking, because I don't know what I'm doing on my videos, as far as the way it looks and recording in general. So
yeah,
I'm just learning as I go.
Well, hopefully we can learn off each other as we go along. Yeah. So you started out at a very young age. What was the first guitar that you got?
Well, other than his, my first electric guitar was a Harmony Flying V. That was a direct Gibson. It was a direct Gibson ripoff, and I wish I still had it because it was really cool.
Yeah. And
but I had it for probably 4 years and then upgraded.
I always wanted a Flying V till the keyboard player in my band says, "I can just see you on stage with," he said, "a lovely pearlescent white Flying V. Or I bet still a pink one, singing all by myself." Because he said that's what you would be. He said I will be playing with you.
But they're cool. They're fun to play. I think I just recently bought a Firefly just because of my first guitar, and it's like $160, and it stainless steel frets. It plays great.
Yeah, we'll get around to it, but I'm absolutely almost 100% of the thought that that is by far the cheapest guitar that you've got.
By far. Yes.
Yeah.
By far.
Yeah, Shane and I have actually exchanged a number of chats and stuff through the Shiji group for a while, so I do know something
You've seen
about
some.
him.
Yeah.
Well, let's get the other elephant out in the room out of the way, Shane. I believe that there's a certain German YouTuber guy, Henning Pauli, that you're friends with.
Yes.
How did that happen then?
My wife and I went to Playa del Carmen, Mexico, and the very next morning we got up to go to breakfast, and he was walking towards me, and I forgot his name because I was in shock. I'm like, I know you. He looked, and he was with his wife, and he looked at her and said, "Told you." She said, "Nobody's going to recognize you," and we spent the whole week with them. It was really cool. They were really nice people, and
I can imagine. I must admit, he's not everybody's cup of tea because some of his presentations are very, very long, but he's very, very detailed, and I think he probably has the best recording technique of anybody on there. Maybe him and Pete Thorne between them.
I like Pete, but I think Henning's his cameras, everything about it is pro. It's like you're watching a movie.
Yeah. Even the involvement of his significantly better looking half.
Yes.
Doing the production for him in the background.
Right. It doesn't hurt, does it?
Yeah.
No, they were lovely people. We had a great time with them.
And have you stayed in touch with him?
A little bit, yeah. I don't want to just bombard him, because he's so busy. And
I mean, I've had occasion to email him very occasionally because I used to sort of like be a Joyo dealer when I lived in China, and Henning was a consultant, particularly around the time of the Bantams, and he was doing the names, and he was heavily involved with the Iron Man series for Joyo, and I'd had some input, unpaid, unlike Henning, I'm sure, because the guy that used to be there, Terry Lai, who's head of marketing at the time, who's now just joined Donna after about a 2-year garden leave, would you believe? Not that the contracts are very restrictive there, but a 2-year garden leave. Yes, so I sort of like knew of him through that, and I would ask him the odd question, and he would recommend something. But he's always been an absolute gentleman and very, very honest. He's definitely my sort of person, and I like his Germanic sense of humor as well.
Right.
Yeah.
Let me clarify on Pete Thorne, though. I wasn't dissing him. He is a fantastic musician and player. I was just talking about the idiot.
But something. I mean, this could go on for hours. I understand that, but when I first started watching his channel, which I think is iTech42, or something, Gay Street, iTech42, he hardly played anything at that time. He used to get other guys in to do the playing, and I never realized he was as good as he was, and then I started looking things up and find out he'd been to I think it was a Guitar Institute of Technology and everything, and then the guy starts to show you that he really can play. But it always bemused me why he got other people in the early days. Maybe it was an insecure thing. I mean, I've actually approached some friends to come on this who are on stage maybe 4 or 5 nights a week, and they won't do it because they don't want to talk. They say, I go on stage, I put my stage clothes on, and I'm somebody else. I just can't talk. I'd freeze up, Even one guy who runs a huge PA hire thing here and plays in 2 bands. He's deferred the opportunity, but I'm going to speak to his brother, who's in one of the biggest Pink Floyd tribute bands in the UK, because he's obsessed with it. I've been told he could speak for hours just on the subject of David Gilmour's Gay. So and I know some people are really into that.
Oh yeah. That'll be cool. Yeah.
I've seen some. I've never actually been to see them live, but I have seen some clips of them, and they are fantastic.
Pink
They
Floyd?
really are, and
Oh,
they've got an incredible stage and lighting show as well that goes with it. So, you know, I'm really looking forward to that. Phil, I'm coming to get you soon, mate.
you haven't seen his band, is what you're saying.
I know I haven't seen his band. No,
You've seen
I've
Pink
never
Floyd.
No,
I
I
have.
started going to concerts when I was probably 17, because you know I was mollycoddled a little bit, and I'd only just started playing when I was 17.
Oh.
I actually took up guitar to join a band that my friend, who was a keyboard player, was putting together. I told him I could play at the time. I couldn't. And we went to the school hall, and he's banging away on the piano there, because he's a pro player these days. He actually does a Neil Diamond tribute.
Oh, wow.
I have no idea. He can't sing, but hey, to Neil Diamond, I'm not really sure. They've both got a gravelly voice.
Right.
And I was pretending that the guitar was a different scale length, and that was why I couldn't play any chords. So I got my first guitar. My mum bought it me from like an online a catalogue shop, and I locked myself in my bedroom so I could play House of the Rising Sun.
There you go.
And I was playing professionally 2 years later. Crazy world.
Incredible. That's great.
Yeah. So I have got some things that I've got down here. So I'm not going to ask you how old you are, Shane, but I'm guessing that you're younger than me.
I'm
so,
53.
Whoa, baby. I know why you started playing. Have you ever done the live thing? Have you been in live cover bands, or have you always been like a bedroom hero, as we call them?
No. I've been in quite a few bands. Of course, my first band was, you know, we got halfway through Crazy Train and we were ready for Madison Square Garden. You know what I mean? You know, been in a few bands, mostly original bands. I never felt really comfortable playing somebody else's song. And when I started playing, I was writing music. And I always thought, well, if I write it, you can't tell me I'm playing it wrong.
Yeah.
It's always been.
Yeah, I was the opposite. After I'd been playing about 1 year, we had a furniture delivery man come to the house. That he had his own business, and he seen my guitar in the corner, and he asked me about it. And he said, "I used to do this for a living." And I said, "Oh yeah." He said, "Yeah." He said, "Only cover bands, because it's the easiest way to earn a living playing guitar is to be in cover bands."
Yeah.
So I took that to heart. I've never had the chance to thank him or smack him round the chops either for all the heartache that I've had over the years. But
you can make more money that way. You can make a lot more money that way versus
I think you can earn a lot more money quicker. But it's what's the hardest thing for you about being in a band, Shane?
It's been a minute since I've had a band. My last band, believe this or not, was in 1993. We were an original band, and we played for a few years and had a great following, but we just kind of went, you know. And then
you just fell out of love with the music, or each other, or
each other really, but we are, and subsequently our singer passed away a couple years ago. So, you know, we were in talks about doing a reunion, you know, show, and he passed away. So it'll be no more with that. But I got heavily into teaching guitar, and so that made me a better guitar player, teaching.
Yeah.
Kids coming
I only did teaching for a very short while, but it made me practice because I had to stay ahead of the people that were paying me. And also they would say, "I want to learn For the Love of God" by Steve Vai. And I'd go, "Really? I think you need to find somebody else." But you know, so on the serious though, they would say, "I want to learn to do this." So I would learn the songs, and it was things like, at the time, it was things like "Died in Your Arms" by Cutting Crew. I've always been into that. I think we used to call it AOR, adult orientated rock, back in the day, and to this day, my favorite bands are still Journey, Foreigner, these guys. That's why when I worked abroad, I attract Filipinos like a magnet, because that's still their pop music.
Right,
and
right.
I've been a number of bands. If you check out Head Games Riyadh on Facebook, you'll see one of my bands there. We split in 2015 when I had to leave the country. Job finishes, you leave the country. You know, that's the way it is. But still in contact with them, still great lads, amazing musicians. Unfortunately, every Filipino believes that they can sing,
Right.
and most of them can't. But I've got some great friends, lady friends who are Filipinos that are really good singers as well, pro singers. So it's a good life for them. So how did you get your technique? Was that just a matter of getting your technique because you wanted to look good when you're doing the lessons, or was it a matter of the parts that you wanted to learn to play were difficult?
Randy Rhoads.
Right.
From Ozzy.
Who I missed out on, by the way, completely.
That was my childhood Superman. He was my Superman, you know, and he taught at his mother's school.
Yeah.
He always prefaced, you know, be yourself. And I still have a lot to work on, you know, personally, but I didn't want to be overly sloppy, you know, and so I really put time in and I used to play really hard, you know. And I'm fortunate from where I'm from. There were some really good guitar players that were older than me, and I stole a lot from them, you know. They helped me out when I was a younger kid, and that you don't have to have such a hard grasp on the guitar. It can be a light.
It's funny. There was on the Shiji group, somebody was talking about like the setup on the guitar today, and I've always played incredibly light. I broke one string in like 40 years, and that was on a Floyd Rose on a gig. And you know, I never got in tune for the rest of the gig, even though I put another string on it. Went out the following day, had a good excuse to buy another guitar. But you know, for me, I guess I stopped learning when Malmsteen came along, because I could appreciate it, but I never felt that I could do it.
Right.
And I remember the Randy Rhoads thing. I remember reading an interview with Eddie, who was my all-time hero, saying that Randy Rhoads, he said that Randy Rhoads guy just tries to do me to death, and I took it verbatim without actually listening to Randy at all. And if you do listen to them now, there's the odd similarity, but you know, they are very different.
I think Randy sounded more European.
Yeah.
I mean, his playing was, and Eddie was very American in his playing, I think, you know. Randy sounded like he came from he sounded like a European guitar player to me. The whole new brave, the new wave of British heavy metal. I mean, that sounded like he was right in that to me. And
I used to like bands like Saxon and it's funny because I never went to that many concerts when I was younger, because by the time I started being old enough to do that, I was playing them myself. But the first concert I went to was my all-time hero, which was John Miles. The next concert I went to was UFO with Michael Schenker. The concert after that was a double header with Def Leppard supporting Sammy Hagar. Wow. And then I went to see Van Halen. So I had a really good run before I went to see Whitesnake and Gary Moore. I have no idea how many times. I think all in all, my favorite, when I think about it logically, is probably still Gary Moore, but not for the blues stuff, funnily enough.
His rock records I like better than the blues stuff.
We're probably in the minority there. You do recognize that, yeah?
Oh, one of my all-time superheroes. Gary Moore is just incredible. Of course, I like Thin Lizzy. You know, he was Lizzy too. John Sykes.
Yeah.
We could talk for days and days on great guitar players, but
Yeah, I used to like Brian Robertson back in the day, but but I understood later that when you stand on a wah-wah, you can get an awful lot of you can get away with a lot.
yeah,
I did it for years as a pro player before I realized you could stack gains to get the same amount of sustain.
well, now
Uh,
Michael Schenker used it different. His
yeah,
wah,
use it as a tone control. Yeah,
yeah, which was incredible.
yeah,
That guy's just his
yeah. But
sensibility
I
just
think
kills me.
Rock Bottom is still one of my top 3 all-time
Oh yeah,
guitar solos.
yeah.
It's just fantastic. What about amps, Shane? I know that these days you're a processor guy. You can tell me a bit about that. But what amps do you like?
Look, I can tell you what I have. I've got a JCM 900 dual reverb, half stack. That's what I used to play live with all the time. I've got a Black Star Club 40T, I believe is what it's called.
Right.
6L6 tubes. I've got a Yamaha HD 100, the one that's got it's two amps in one with a 212 cabinet. That's a really cool amp. And I've got a secret weapon. My first real amp that I ever got was a PV Renown. Have you ever heard of that?
Right. Okay. Yeah, I remember them. Yeah.
And I sold it years ago, and my wife in this past year just bought me one, and it's exact. I mean, thank you. And that is hands down for me the best solid state amp ever made.
Right.
And I'm gonna.
I must admit, I thought PV were going to dominate for years. I remember watching the Country Music TV Awards and them just an array of them everywhere, and then they just faded, and they went away.
I don't know what happened with them. They were the quote unquote working man's equipment.
Yeah.
And reasonably priced. But yeah, this is a 1980. It's right over here beside me. A 1984 PV Renown. I can't say enough about them. They're great amps.
Yeah.
I have videos with me playing through it.
These days, because I'm just doing jam nights and stuff, I play either through what's there, or I use the Joyo band amps. I've got the anniversary 20-watt one, which was based on the JCM 800, and I played through a JCM 800 for years. It sounds just like a JCM
I own
800.
Pedals. I really like their pedals. They're really nice.
Yeah.
You can't beat them. And I've seen a lot of videos with the little heads. They sound.
Them are the band amps. I run one of those into 2 Ignator Ownby 12 cabs, and it's you can make trousers flap, no problem whatsoever. Yeah.
But I've since moved on as far as for recording ease. I bought one of the Head Rush MX5s. It was the little.
Yeah.
Oh, man, this sounds incredible for what it is. And I have since moved up to the Head Rush Prime, and that is an incredible machine. I really.
You get some great tones on it. Yeah,
it feels like you're playing through a real amp. I don't know how they capture the feel. You know?
So what we'll do is we'll just because otherwise people will think that I'm lying, that you've got great technique and everything. If you can send us a little clip of the play, then we'll tag it on the end of the video as well, if you won't mind, please. What are your favorite pieces that you've done?
Okay. Well, how about a link to one of my YouTube videos? Would that work?
Yeah. Because we want to grow your channel as well. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. And let me tell you how I'm very fortunate, which I didn't think people would win any of these things. Last year, my wife sent me an email and said, "Hey, enter this sweepstakes." And it was for Sweetwater Music. I've
heard of them. Yeah.
Yeah. And I was like, I've entered those things before, but something told me enter it. I was August last year. I was their grand prize winner. I won $10,000 worth of home recording equipment.
Wow.
So I've got the Apollo X4 interface, Adams monitors, Atom Audio, which are really. What's funny is I just bought some Yamaha's monitors, real nice, and I've got them right here too. But the price of the Atoms was for one of the. I mean, the Yamaha was priced at one of the Atoms, so they're like twice the price. They're really, really nice. And microphones, well, like say, have you heard of Lewitt?
Yes, I have. Yeah,
It's a really nice mic. I won the auto tune. They gave me that whole package. Eventide, a whole package. All kind of like stuff like that. Mic stands, 10 grand worth, and I was, and that really.
I could actually get a mic stand out of my shed before, a boom one, and I lifted it up and the thing snapped in half.
Oh,
it's since I've used it, the weak point on the boom, so it's now a straight stand. It works fine as a straight. It's the boom that's gone. So give us we've got about 10 minutes left, so give us a quick rundown of what guitars you've got.
Okay. Well, I brought this one out just for the fact. My Shiji.
Oh, the beautiful Bluey.
Yes, yes. The neck. I really have fell in love with this guitar. It's really sweet. So I'll tell you my top 4 that I own.
Yeah.
That I'm playing right now. That was my.
And that's the Shiji TM5, right?
Yes. I have a.
And I've not seen many blue ones. Most people tend to buy the purple one, but I prefer the look of the blue. Yeah.
I was actually trying to buy the purple one, but they didn't have it. I got this at Bayland, I believe is the name of the place.
Yeah. Tom at Bayland's Guitars in the States.
Yes, and this was the last one he had, so I thought, and the price was so good, I had to get it.
Yeah, I've got a purple one upstairs.
I don't regret it.
Yeah, he said it'll be up at the trade show. So I've got about 4 or 5 demonstration guitars there, plus some of my personal guitars I'll be taking. So I'm going to do a couple of the trade shows. And you've got a few others other than the Shijis then. You got 5 of them?
I'd say my top 4 or 5. I would go with my Tom Anderson drop top. Yeah. Fantastic guitar. I mean, that's if the house is on fire, I'm definitely grabbing that one.
Yeah.
I have my Sir Standard Legacy. Fantastic guitar.
Yeah, I hate you. You do realize that's my dream guitar. I've always loved that. I've never played a bad one of that model. Right. Never. I have played some Sirs which were not as good, but that one is just everything.
It's fantastic. Have you played an Anderson?
Yeah. Yeah. Again, I've got a friend in Germany that has the best Strat sound I have ever heard. I mean, it helps that he's a fantastic player, but he plays with too high an action. I used to go on some gigs and see him when he was living in Thailand, and he decided that he was just going to give me his guitar and go and get a drink. Okay. His action was way. At one time, he had 26 PRSs, I think it was. Wow. But now I think he's got an Ibanez AZ, something else. But his main guitar is like the powder blue Anderson, and I've never heard a more perfect Strat sound.
Yeah, Tom Anderson knows how to build a guitar.
Yeah,
I have another guitar I purchased last year was a Yamaha Rev Star Professional. And that's an incredible guitar. I play it a lot. You can see me play that on my YouTube videos. I'm trying to think what else. I have a Robin. Have you ever heard of Robin guitars?
No.
This is it's very rare. It's a neck through.
Yeah.
Super Strat with Floyd. Really, really nice guitar. I don't play it much. I've got it put up because they didn't make many of that particular model. I have a Fender Strat that I've had I bought it brand new in January of 1990, and I wouldn't take $1 million for it. It's an Ultra Deluxe. It's got the Fender lace sensors. I've done more shows with that guitar than any.
That's the one that's apparently got a really chunky neck on it, yeah.
It is the most. It's not like a standard Stratocaster. It's its own thing, but that's a fantastic guitar. And
But my biggest regret was I had a Strat Plus Deluxe with a really heavily figured bird's eye maple neck. It was one of the first ones that come out of the factory when John Sir set up the custom shop.
oh
So
yeah,
they weren't originally the custom shop. They were just, like that. They were setting it up, but they were putting them out as production guitars. And I swapped it for, I think it was a Kramer Pacer, that, which was a heap of junk. And that, before that, no, I'll tell you what I swapped it for. It unbelievably, it was a PRS, one of the older ones before they did the birds on every guitar.
wow.
One of the classic electrics. But that's my biggest guitar regret. I think right now that in Crimson Burst first year Strat Plus Deluxe with lace sensors would be worth a lot. It's been my biggest regret because my wife, I did one gig with it and said it didn't have the balls for doing the 5-star and the Go West stuff that I was doing. Me and my ex-wife take the gig and played it back, and it sounded fantastic. Probably the nicest guitar sound I've ever had.
Oh wow,
for sure.
Speaking of John Sir, let me grab this guitar right here. But
yeah,
see if you've seen one of these. I've been told, I'm not sure. This is, can you see that?
Yeah.
This is a Fender Showmaster.
Right.
Nick,
okay.
I heard that, and it looks like a Sir if you really look at it. I heard that.
Yeah, John, it does. Yeah.
He designed these. Fantastic guitar.
Yeah.
I had a buddy route it out to put the Floyd Rose. That's an original. This came off of I got this on eBay years ago. So that's the good German hardened steel. This is the original. But it will, if you can look at that.
Yeah.
Never goes
all
out.
The way down.
Never goes out of there.
Yeah.
But yeah, that I'm not really sure if John did, but I have read that he designed that guitar.
Maybe he'll drop us a note. John's on my Facebook on personal one, and I'm on his. So he drops me the odd now, largely because he's like me. He's obsessed with Tears for Fears. He used to be in a band doing like Tears for Fears and Go West stuff. So we have a common interest. And I for about 17 years, I had what he now calls a Sir Custom Standard, beautiful guitar, but too much sentimental value with the ex-wife and all that sort of stuff, and a lot of water under the bridge. And I decided that I needed a clean break away from all that. And hey, I've got a Chinese wife now, so I play Chinese guitars.
Hey, nothing wrong with that at all.
Absolutely
I told you when we first started talking to each other, I don't care where a guitar is made. If it's good, it's good.
Yeah, it's really sad, but some people, particularly retail and guitar buyers, don't see it that way. I won't go into any specifics, but let's just say that somebody wasn't happy. They thought that they thought that Shijis were actually Japanese, and therefore they didn't want to stock them because they were Chinese. And criminal, absolutely criminal.
I can attest to that by owning one, and I wish I had 10 more.
Well, I might be able to sort you out.
My wife doesn't want to hear that, but
Yeah. Shane, we're going to have to stop because I think that our clock's coming up. There's a 40 minutes time on this, but I've really enjoyed the chat, and you've been a great guest. So I'd like to do it again sometime if it's okay with you.
Absolutely, yeah. I enjoyed it. It's great meeting you, and congrats on being the UK dealer.
Well, yeah, it's. I don't think it's going to be a poison chalice because for me it'll be a labour of love as well. It's not a financial thing by any stretch of the imagination. I have to rely on the day job for doing that as a supply chain.
We have to get the word out on the quality of what he's making. It's incredible. I can't.
It's shocking when you consider that it's for me the quality's at least, if not better, than like the Ultralux Strats and stuff that they're making. Alex is doing a tremendous job there, and the new ones with these USA hand-wound pickups on them, they sound incredible. So those are Shiji's own pickups on that, the TM5.
Yeah, they sound great to me.
Yeah, yeah. And David is coming on the channel. He's got one of those as well. Well, he did have. I don't know